Hello,
was
Mr.
our
Ali.
trouble. Is he back?
Yeah, I was Mr. Ali. You're back now? Well, you're back because you had an interview this
Yes,
week, right?
I'm
So
back.
you was
I'm here.
so we're trying to get your attention last time to figure out exactly um what the job requirement was. Why? Let's make sure to see how this. Okay, it's streaming. I won't mess with it. Because we like having notepads. All right, Mr. Ali, do you have a job description for? I know one of the things I was trying to. Me and Jesmel went back and forth on Tuesday. We talked about a little bit because we were trying
Yes.
to get to the root of your, just to see what we can give you to prepare.
Okay.
So, but I had that inclination that was going to be a recruiter call, and looks like that's what it turned out to be, right?
Yes.
Yeah, because we were reading the job description and they wanted a magician. They wanted somebody who could do BI and Python and Java. Yeah, that's true. Mr. Finder, you were with us through that experience. They were looking for something that didn't exist.
See.
So this is how it works, right? Whenever you the first thing you're looking for when you have an outreach from a recruiter, whether it's direct from the organization themselves or it's a third-party recruiter, if they send you an email or they give you a call, the most important thing is to determine whether your qualification for it is the job title. It has to be a SQL Server database administrator role, right? So that's the first thing you're looking for. At that first point of contact, I will not worry too much about I won't worry too much about what the job description says, right? The job title, because job descriptions, again, from your own experience, from what you just sent us on Tuesday, what we got on Tuesday, that's the height of bogusness. They wanted somebody who could do networking and then business intelligence and development and expert statistical and then
An architect
and design. They brought up,
Yeah.
well, that's true, right? So that's a very unrealistic. Maybe ChatGPT generated a job description for somebody and then they put it out. So SQL database administrator, that's the first thing. Now, are there other titles that we should consider? Like a SQL database administrator. There are others, this is one thing people don't realize, right? The mindset we have coming from a lot of us are, coming from our African background, our roots. An engineer, we don't think of ourselves as engineers. But within companies, we are classified as engineers because we are builders, technically. We are builders and we support. So we fall under that software engineering, that's the software engineer category for the most part. So you can see job titles that are like database engineer, right? That's, don't run away from that. So when the titles start getting skewed like this, then you can, be more, you can look more at the job description to see if it helps you. You want to make sure that it's still SQL. Right? Primarily SQL. It's super important that you clarify that. So you don't waste your time. Because it's almost like, even with all of the years I did SQL Server, right? If, let's say I mistakenly apply for an Oracle database engineer role, by the time I get to stage 2, I'm going to be exposed, right? It's going to be certain things or a lot of things that I don't know. So it might as well not have wasted my time, right? So it's the same thing. You want to, it's not like there's no fun in trying. You can try, but if you're trying to just explore and see, then make sure that's the intention. But if you're serious about applying for a job, database engineer roles, if you see that title, just make sure it's that it's SQL, and you know, look at, and that's where it's okay to send an email, go back and forth with the recruiters, right, and ask them for clarification. You know, send an email reply and say, hey, so I got your email, and it looks like something I'm interested in. I just wanted to be clear because this is my background, and I want to make sure that this is something, you know, that we're on the same page. You know, can you confirm they're looking for this and this and this? Is this exactly what they're looking for? Let them clarify that. So just get some clarity before you advance in the process, so you don't go 2 stages in or 2-3 phone calls in and then realize you wasted your time. So that's another thing. So job description shouldn't dissuade you from applying, but when the job titles are getting complicated or weird, get clarification. I've had a database security engineer role before. I did a contract for 6 months with Wells Fargo. It was a security engineer role, but they needed somebody with, you know, database SQL Server expertise to help them with their SQL, you know, database policies for SQL Server, right? And so that's what I came in. I was part of its security team. There were different security engineers, you know, on different aspects. So again, that's me saying, even for non-SQL DBA roles, I wouldn't just say, no, it's none of my business, right? Or, you know, I won't just close the door because, and so I'll recommend, again, just engage in a conversation with them. You know, most reasonable recruiters will give you feedback. They will let you know, well, this is exactly what we're looking for, or maybe that's not what we're trying to do here. Maybe we'll, you know, and you shake hands over email and say, you know what, that's not for me, or they tell you, well, maybe next time when we get something, that's totally okay. So, but the key is just those titles, just do your due diligence, you know, engage in that conversation with the recruiters and find out exactly where their head is at, or what the expectation is for particular positions, for particular roles. That's super important.
So how is that going, by the way? I mean, any headway in that direction? The job, talking to Mr. Ali.
Try to
say that again, I wouldn't hear you.
I was asking, you know, what's the progress with that, with a job, with the recruiter?
The strong database architecture, deep experience delivering business critical Microsoft SQL Server, and Transact SQL.
I was asking the progress. I mean, how
yeah,
far
did you move forward yet? Did you already you do the interview yet?
Oh no, the I'll call it. They missed the appointment, so they want to reschedule the interview. So we reschedule for next week. The interview was have to do last Wednesday, but we rescheduled. I was at time. I tried to call them, but nobody was there. So I sent them an email to say what about the interview, but she said she was another calling. So
okay,
so I apologize if we can reschedule. I said okay, no problem.
All right. So I feel like that. So that's, I think you and Jason Mel kind of established that wasn't the actual interview. That was like a recruiter. That was a recruiter call. That was just to go into the details of the position, correct? Yeah. So that's whatever conversation you have, that is where you get to really find out what the employers are looking for. So not whatever they typed in that, whatever you just read to us right now. That's a made up job description, you know. So I'll say just your objective in that call is to learn as much as possible about what the expectations are. Get specific with what exactly are they looking for, right? Or what exactly are they trying to, what's the gap? Okay, so people, it's always an advantage when you get to speak to a recruiter first, right? There are two things you're trying to accomplish when you're speaking to the recruiter. One, you want to um, project or leave them you want to leave them feeling like this is the best guy for the job, right? Because they're going to be able to make that judgment call to either move you forward or terminate the application right there. So your primary objective is to make sure you are moved to the next level, basically making a good impression. Because again, they're likely not technical. You are the technical person, and so you need to convey your expertise over the call, which is a fun thing to do because I'm dealing with somebody who doesn't necessarily understand all of the ins and outs of the technology. And so I can bamboozle my way through that. All you need to do, and the key thing for that conversation is confidence. Be confident in your delivery. Don't try to BS, because some people, even though they might not be technical, you don't know how many DBAs they've spoken to in their career, right? You don't know how many technical people they've spoken to. So they might have learned one or two things. So you own the conversation, be the expert. That's the first thing, because you want to get to this next call. You want them to move you on to the next level. Second objective with a recruiter call is you want to learn as much as possible about exactly what the client is looking for, right? Throughout the job description. The job description is again, like we've established it, that's the most bogus piece of material they put out. All they want to do is use that as hey, if you're a DBA and have DBA skills, this might be interesting to you. That's all that thing is doing. When you're speaking to the recruiter, that's where you get to know exactly what their clients are looking for, right? That's where you get to understand what the company needs are. So they're talking to you, well, our client is looking for this, and they're looking for somebody who can do this and look for someone who can do that, right? You can make sure you're getting some of that level of specifics if they have it. So where are the gaps? What exactly are they looking for? Find out about the position. Is this a new position, or is this a backfill? So maybe somebody left and they're trying to fill the position back, right? Or, but it makes sense to figure out why is there a role opening up in September, right? That's that's not the normal time. Um, Either somebody quits or got fired, or maybe the work got overwhelming and they needed a new requisition. But ask those questions. Those are all experience pointers, right? So it's so this position, what exactly, how come this position, and what are the expectations? What's the reporting, structure of the team? Get detailed with all of the questions you're asking the recruiter. Is more going to, you're not necessarily doing anything with those questions per se for yourself at this stage, right? Now, for me, if I'm going into a job, right, or I'm asking questions specifically, maybe because I want to understand the situation, if I want to go there or not, right? For you right now, your objective is to get in. So you're not necessarily trying to interview the company per se, but you want to project that, you want to give that impression that I'm not coming cheap. I'm not just going to come because you throw money at me. I have options, right? It's kind of how you want to come off, not in an arrogant way, but in a confidence in your abilities kind of way. So ask questions about, what solutions are you using? What platforms are you currently supporting? Who does this thing report to? How many teams are going to be, are we coordinating with all of that? So those are the things you want to, find out exactly, is there any particular thing they're looking for? Technology wise, what high availability solutions are they using? Which solutions are they implementing, within the team? Get as much as possible, see what kind of questions, so that will help you prepare for, if you know specifically where the needs are or what the gaps are, you'll be better equipped to prepare for your interview, right? You'll be better equipped to prepare for your interview. So they are interviewing you, you're also interviewing them. Does that help, Mr. Ali?
Yes, okay, no problem.
Yeah, so just go, do it that way. I remember the rules for once you're done with your back and forth with the recruiter, um, more than likely what they're going to ask you for what your salary expectations are. Right?
Yes.
Is this going to be a full-time role or a part-time role?
Full-time role. And they talk about WT and C2C. I don't know what this meaning. I say, but
Yeah,
what,
so W2 and C2C, is that what you said?
I see. I working only actually on W2, C2C. I don't know what that means, but
Yeah, so well, if you don't know C2C, they will just do W2, right?
That's cup to cup, yeah.
Yeah, cup to cup. Yeah, C2C is cup to cup. It will involve, it's basically doing business. It's doing business. It's being employed as a business, basically. So they will require specific business documentation from you, for that. So now they're paying you. But if it's if you're saying it's a permanent, it's a full-time role, it's I always recommend to people, if that's not a game you're familiar with, don't play it. Just W2 is all right. Cup to cup, you're gonna get cup to cup is almost like 1099. Basically, 1099 is the individual you're getting and you're sorting out your taxes, but you're doing it as a business. Cup to cup is you're doing it like a business to business. That's one key. But both of them, you are responsible for your taxes. So the company, if they're paying you $50 an hour, for example, as a 1099 employee, you're going to get $50 an hour, no deductions, except you're contributing to anything within your employer, but you'll get your money. But my thing is always make sure you understand, you have a good tax person or something. Like, don't just do it because because that greed to keep more money is waiting for you in April when
Well,
when it's
if you know
taxes.
that you're going to leave the US and run to Nigeria, then just take it and run.
Yeah,
If you're going to
yeah.
be here,
If that's the goal, because again, Uncle Sam does not forgive.
yeah.
That's the thing. Like they hit you with that bill. I always used to hear people talk about getting tax bills and everything, and it was until like maybe when I was going to do my citizenship or something like that, and we needed to go. We got a thing that I had back taxes from 2012 or that. Like, and they sent me the bill, the thing that generated interest to almost 10, 11 grand. I'm like, I've never missed filing taxes. Like, I remember because it was it was one of those things that it was I was indoctrinated. Like, when you come to America and they sit you down and then they give you the orientation. It was one of the orientation classes I attended was making sure you file taxes, all that good stuff. So I was IRS can be emailing me, and we go back and it turns out when they started investigating, I actually found the document I used to file, took it to them, and it turned out H&R Block never submitted it. So they completed the thing, but the guy never turned it in. So to me, I filed taxes. So if I didn't have that documentation, for some weird reason, I kept that thing for almost 10 years. But 10 years ago, almost $11,000-$12,000, I was about to turn gray overnight. Like, what? How do you go from just suddenly you owe the government $10,000? I literally had to get a tax accountant to walk through, to navigate through everything. We had to refile that tax, do some things. I ended up paying under $500, but I still paid. So W2, 1099, C2C, when in doubt, just go W2 and let Uncle Sam collect his money, and you take yours, and everybody's happy.
That would be my own opinion, because you don't want to be sorting out taxes. You don't know
Yeah.
what's going to happen here.
Yeah, if you don't have a good tax person that is working with you, just leave it alone. I'm telling you. Like I know people who started messing with that whole W-2 and 1099 and or changing all of the exempt and non-exempt and now because of all of the boot jive they're in, they've not even filed taxes for years, and so they know their day is coming. You know how you're like, yeah, my day is coming. Like, so it's just a game that it works for people who understand it, but if you're not at that level where you understand the tax code in and out, just the government, just see it as your own contribution to the forward movement of the of the American economy of your county. But yeah, so did you guys already settle on a price or a rate for the role?
He said he's not been able to talk to them though, right?
But I mean they've emailed back and forth. Mr. Ali, you there?
Sorry, I was with my baby. I was doing her.
Oh, you're doing daddy work.
Okay, 3 seconds.
Yeah, so
Yes.
just I was asking whether you already did your salary negotiation or no.
Yeah, but I'm asked them what is the range.
Okay.
So they tell me 45 to 65. So I say I take 55. So
Okay.
didn't
Well,
say.
but at least the good thing is they gave you their benchmarks. They gave you that's pretty low, but 55 at least you're able to get the higher spectrum of it. So that's good. That will still put you in the
But
110.
sometimes they don't want to say that. So we discuss it, but I don't know what, because sometimes it depends of the company.
Yeah.
So, but when you check in Google, the
Yeah.
database administrator, the pay in here is the is 85,000.
Yeah, I was going to ask if it's a junior position because 65 is odd to me. That's about $32 an hour, which is totally weird.
No, I think it's 55 an hour. Is that what it?
No, I thought it says 55 a year. Is it per hour or a year?
No, 55 is hour.
Oh, okay.
55 an hour.
Okay.
That they say between 45 and 55. So I say I take 55.
Yeah. Oh no, if it was 55K, yeah, I'll tell you to just tell them you're not interested.
But about when I check in Google, the K sometimes is 85 and up. But sometimes when they say 70 is like maybe you start or something like.
It depends on the state and your experience, the state,
Okay.
Location.
It depends of the state and the company too. But
those two different. The company and then this the location will determine what the numbers are for the most time, but there's still ballpark numbers, expectations. But again, I think eventually the right way to go about it is what you did. Find out from them what their budget is. It can be nobody is recruiting for a high level position like a database administrator without a budget. So find out what their budget is and then negotiate from there. All right, they told you 45 to 65. That's so I think now based on your interview or something, that was probably what they were thinking. They will now make an offer. But again, even that range, I'm not too excited about, but that's something. That's something. So if it secures you the interview, that's okay.
But generally, what the expectation you have to see, because sometimes when you say your salary and they get another guys who they can pay less, so they keep.
No, trust me. Like we are in a. It's just like think about it like this. if let's say me and Mr. Finder were car dealers, right? You come, both of us are trying to sell you a Range Rover, and Mr. Finder's tells you, hey, this Range Rover has all those bells and whistles. But the price is $95,000. But you come and meet me and I tell you I have the exact same car for $35,000. You should be suspicious of me, right? Because anybody selling a Range Rover at that, there's an amount of money you put, and the first thing I ask you is what's wrong with the car? Like literally, there's a money you call for, or you go to some houses, you see some homes on Zillow, and then one particular house is just weirdly 100K less, cheaper. Your first inclination is the comps are not, the math is not matching, the comps are not looking, something is off. What's wrong with this house? Is foundation bad or something? So that's why I always tell people don't give a number, right? A lot of times I have to tell like, man, I don't even care about I just want a job, anything is fine. And I always tell people don't anything, that's the worst thing that's the worst place to stand, because anybody who has been doing this long enough, if I'm a recruiter and I've been recruiting for 6 months, I know that people who are worth their salt are not going for cheap because they know they can get something else, right? They're not going for cheap. They're not going to say, hey, you know what, just pay me something. No.
Yes, they know you're desperate. Yeah.
So whatever, if you do that, they can smell the desperation by when you start trying to, so don't worry about somebody pricing going down. These guys have money. Most of these employers looking to hire at this scale, they're not broke, right? They won't, I want to save $5,000 here, so I'm going to go hire this guy. If you're the better option, they will hire you.
So guys, don't do this at home, but if a recruiter calls me and mentions 65, I'll tell him never to call me back. Don't call me again. That's it. Don't call me again. And I say that, I mean, for real, I've gotten to a stage where 65, are you kidding me? They don't call me again.
You're operating from a place of experience and power, and you're already working too. So this is, like you said, don't try this at home. But honestly, that's how you should be. That's where you need to be looking to get to, where I'm so confident in my skills and the opportunity available to me that if it's not for me, it's not for me. If your budget is at a certain amount, like after your first job, if you come to me and tell me you're getting back at, I'm going to give you like, no, okay, now you already know what it is. You're not you're not trying to start from scratch. And so your negotiation is different. Now you have a benchmark, right? You've already adjusted your life to, let's say you start at 55 an hour. You do that 55 an hour for 6 months to 1 year. Guess what's going to happen in that 1 year? You're going to adjust your lifestyle to accommodate this new extra income you're getting. So you can't go from 55 to 50 anymore because it will not be able to afford. So you already have your lifestyle by itself has given you a benchmark, it's giving you like a cap. So the game is different once your negotiation is different once you're in the game already. But for this first one, get their range and then negotiate from there, just like you did. I think that's, again, just no key for recruiter calls is just you want to leave them with the impression that you are the best person for the job. You want to make sure they are moving you forward. And how you do that is by demonstrating proficiency in how you speak, how you convey, I always use this illustration. There are certain things you don't know anything about. When you hear somebody talking about them and you know they're good at that thing, right? I've seen presentations on on subjects I have no clue about, or maybe I just know very little about, right? I've sat through business workshops, listening to concepts, and I know I don't know this thing, but the way this guy is talking about it, I believe him, right? That's, because, so even though I can't verify the facts of what he's saying without going to do some extra research, if you asked me at that point in time, what do you think about this guy? Based on just how they delivered it, I'll say, hey, you know what? That guy sounded really confident. They sounded like they know what to talk about. Barring any new information I find out, I think he's legit. so that's how you want to leave your interviewer, your recruiter feeling, is you want them to, I don't know jack about anything about high availability, but they know the way you broke it down, it just makes sense. You know what you're talking about, right? When someone knows what you're talking about, you can hear it. That's your objective, is to come to a level of comfort and confidence, a level of mastery in conveying your thoughts. Once you get to that point, you're good. You'll be talking to recruiters, and every 2 out of every 3 you speak to will turn to a second call. And that's where that's where the winning starts happening. All right. So when is the call scheduled for a second?
Okay.
When are you speaking to them? When the rescheduled call, when is it happening? On Monday?
No, I told them Wednesday.
Wednesday, okay.
Yeah,
I was hoping it happened before. I was hoping it happened before Tuesday, so that we can prepare for.
I think about that for the first date. I get when I told them Wednesday, because I know we have to we have class Tuesday, so I know I can prepare before the time of interview.
Okay.
So when they say they will reschedule, I say okay, no problem. Next Wednesday we can do that.
All right, that's fair. So we'll see this. But it's definitely so. Yeah. Since it's again, I'm not too worried. It's a recruiter call, so I don't think there's going to be any in-depth technical conversations. Just understand the things you have in your resume, because that's going to be more than likely the basis of what they ask about. The recruiter calls, though, they don't go into detail. They go, it's more high level, breaking down what their client is looking for, what their company is looking for.
Yes.
Navigate the job description, maybe start to trying to sell you on the company and why it's a great thing for you to, a lot of the answers. So just don't. One of the ways people give away their lack of experience is by being very vague in their responses. So I'm not saying, again, the person you're speaking to likely doesn't understand what transaction log shipping is or what disaster recovery is, right? So I'm not saying give them a master class and teach them the types of indexes. But I don't also want you to give vague answers. So if they say, hey, do you have any experience working with indexes? Don't just say yes and stop, right? I don't just stop at yes or no, right? Oh, okay. What do have you done anything with high availability? Are you familiar with backups? I see on your resume you've done this before. Don't just say, oh yes, that's what I've done, or no. Don't give a little more context, right? And it doesn't have to be a definition or a deep explanation, right? But let's go back to the car illustration, for example, right? I go back to, let's say I'm trying to, I'm trying to look for a good illustration. I'm trying to say, okay, well, how much do you know about this Range Rover? My answer is no. Well, I know Range Rovers. you want to be able to talk about, oh yeah, I've driven a Range. I've been driving a Range Rover for the last 15 years. Yeah, I'm pretty familiar with how it works. It goes from this speed to this speed at this rate. Very familiar with the one with 6 cylinders and how so you talk a little bit without going in depth into the functionality, but you give them enough teas to let them feel like, oh yeah, okay, this person knows what I'm talking about. That's how you want to deal with those things. So if you're asking me about indexes, for example, like, okay, have you worked with indexes before in your career, for example? I'm like, yes. It's a core part of every database maintenance that I do. Indexes are critical to performance, and so it's something I get to be support on a regular basis. It's so I'm not going in depth into, well, an index is an object in a table that helps you search results faster. At that point, I start speaking Greek. But I'm very familiar with indexes. It's it's a core part of maintenance. Every time, really, when we talk about database maintenance, you can't really separate, index from, but you can't really talk about performance tuning and leave out indexes. And so it's a critical part of our day-to-day, typical DBA work. So just saying something like that, I'm leaving the person feeling more, okay, this person does this thing. I reference day-to-day, I reference indexes, I reference maintenance, I threw out some more buzzwords. So now they should feel more comfortable. So that's how I would navigate that conversation.
So, for example, if they ask you about expectation, if I get another interview like that, and they ask about expectation, what is the
salary expectation?
Yeah, salary expectation. What is the amount I have to
Don't give
say?
them an amount. Don't give them a number, right? Because
number without you say.
Yeah. So if they ask me like, hey, so what are you looking for in this position? What's your target salary? What's your, sometimes they'll ask you something like, what are you currently making? Because they want to use that and determine where to put you. And so if you ask me anything about money related to what I want to make or trying to get me to come to a number, what I'll say is, well, I'm open to negotiation. What are you looking to pay for this role? What's your client's budget?
Okay.
Right. That's what I'll say. Well, once they tell me what are you looking to do, well, I'm pretty open to actually have a conversation about this. What budget are you working with? What's your client looking to pay for this role?
Yeah.
Right. You see,
we can negotiate.
Yeah, so let them know you're open to negotiation. Let them tell you ask them what their budget is, and they will give you a number. I don't know if you've hired most of these handymen, most of this, you're trying to maybe do like some work in your house, some upgrades. You tell them, hey, I'm trying to do this, and they ask you, what's your budget for the project? Mm-hmm. Right? Instead of so they're waiting, they will tell you based on your budget, this is what we can do. Right? But what they're doing is you're the one that will tell them what you want to pay, and they will make sure they finish that money, right? So it's the same strategy.
Okay.
It's the same strategy. Same with those contractors. You tell them you want to do some upgrades in the basement, you want to make some of that. So what's your budget for the project? I just told you what I want to do. Tell me my price. But they won't tell you a price. They'll ask you what's your budget. And then when you give them your budget, they will tell you what you can and cannot do. Or they will start working. So it's the same game. Let them tell you their budget. When they tell you their budget, then you start telling them what you can and cannot accept.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Because if you give them a number, you pin yourself to a corner, and it might be off their range, right? So like we're just saying now, these guys are offering you 40, 45 to 65, right? That number, that's their range. But let's say you said something like, maybe you are using based on where you are. You just say, you know what, I'm going to take, how much are you looking for? I say, you know what, I'm desperate. Just give me 40. They will say no, right? Mm-hmm. It's going to do one of two things for you. It's either going to put you in this guy is desperate and doesn't know what they are worth, or you're going to get the job, and one day you're going to realize that your colleague is making $30,000 more than you. You'll be miserable coming to work every day just by that knowledge. So let them guide you. When they give you their budget, you can start negotiating from there.
All right.
I used to have I used to struggle with that part when many years ago. So right now, if they ask me, what do you want as a salary? What's your salary requirement? I tell them, well, let's start from $1 million, and we all start laughing. After we finish laughing, I'll say, well, I would teach the recruiter that no matter how much my budget is, not going to change the mind of the budget that the company has, right? They will say, yes, they agree with me. I would say, so it doesn't matter what I want, but I said, money will not be a deal breaker. Let me know what range you have. Then they start giving me all the information that I will never tell you what my figure is,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So this is a different strategy, right? But we're still doing the same thing. This is where you go, like, have I met you before? Did we discuss this? But it's the same, so still the same strategy. You don't want to give a number because you can overprice yourself, or because it could genuinely be a company that don't have a massive budget, but they are looking for somebody to come on, right? And maybe legit their budget is $50 an hour, $45 an hour, right? But now because it's me, I'm like, you know what? My budget is $75 an hour. Immediately, I'm like, you know what? This is not for you. Now, for somebody who is already in, you want people to reject you when they're not willing to pay you enough, right? You want that to end right away. But for you trying to get your first foot in the door, you don't want to be eliminated based on numbers. So let's always, I had a student, and the typical negotiation happens before the interview. In our own scenario, it happened. They told her we'll talk about the salary when we do your interview because they want to weigh your. At the end of the interviews, they had already literally like, we want to bring you in. We really like you. And they asked her this question. This is the one question I overflogged in my training career. This negotiation tactic. And they asked this woman, what are you looking for? Mr. Finder, this was in 2000 and like maybe 14. This is not recent. And she opens her mouth and she says $120,000. This is not now that 120K is not that a big deal. This was at the beginning. This was a little bit, 10 years back, right? Which again, it's good to have the boldness. And that was the end of it. That was the end of the opportunity. When she told me, she was like, don't be angry. I'm like, you don't even know the level of mad I am right now with you. Because you could have gotten this thing. They were literally like, just tell us what you want. Like they were ready to make an offer. They just wanted to complete that part of the negotiation. But the thing was, she was so discouraged by that mistake she made. And I tried my best to encourage her back into it. She never got back into it.
Oh, wow.
She never got back into it. Like, she'd never go back into it. She was so, because she was very, you know how you're like, wow, this thing is, I'm about to,
Almost
nail
there.
this, everything's going. And yeah. So it's simple things like this, they're game changers. Yep. So when they ask you for salary expectation, that's a tactic. I've played that $1 million one before. Like, hey, once you say, well, I want to make, well, how about 500K? Everyone starts laughing like, don't we all?
Yeah, that's
like,
exactly what they reply. Say, I would like that too.
Yeah, don't we all? Like, sure, okay, yeah. So tell me, what are you guys looking to pay, really? Like, and they'll come out and tell you straight, well, these guys really want to pay 70, for the right experience. If experience is there, they can go to 75, but that's their max. So now I know you can reach 75. Guess where I'm starting from? 75.
Yeah.
Because that's how I start from. I want to get the max. Like, why would I leave any dollar for you?
If you're gonna give me 75, it means you can do 80.
Yeah, you can do 80.
I'll push
that's
80.
Yeah.
I don't
like, hey,
because,
yep.
Because the reason why, here is why, not because of greed, right? Like the prof said, number one, you start and you find out that somebody under you is earning much more than you. That's number one. Is a no. Number two is, in the US, okay, I worked for Citibank in Nigeria before I came to the US. In Citibank, before the year runs out, they will give you like clothing allowance, they will give you inflation allowance. So my account is always like the 250K, 300K, those good old days, like 28 years ago. Just money from Citibank. So I'm used to that. I got to the US. First of all, when I heard they were doing a raise, I was so happy. I'm like, oh, my eye was like, wait, they gave me 30,
like 1%.
30 cents. I'm like, 30, what the hell? It did not move. Sorry, I'm screaming because this is
that's how it happens. Always disappointing. Like, it's like, is it gas money or what?
I'm like, when the salary comes, there's no change. So before you move, if you stay on the same job for 10 years, you will barely move. Right?
Yeah,
so that's why it's good to get the highest you can get at any point in time. Yeah.
When you negotiate, like, I've dealt with that. I fought so hard at income to get a raise because I was in the situation of underpriced, and I was at the second year, I had, apart from Kalian on the team, then I was the oldest DBA because of the turnover rate.
Wow.
And literally, I was showing people all of this. I was literally the guy showing people stuff in there. The other guy, Ramu, that was based, he used to be in Alpharetta then, and he never came around. He was, even in the Alpharetta office, he never really came in. He just moved, like he had something on the people there. So I was literally the one that was on ground to take on some of this, and these guys were getting money. When there was one of our Nigerian brethren that was hired. At one time they hired two Nigerian men, and I would go cool with them. I started because I was showing them navigating stuff with them. I asked them, my brother, what are they even paying you? So the guy was like, you're my person. I think he felt bad about telling me because he would have done it.
Was he a DBA too?
It was a DBA in my team, on the staff there. He told me how much was being paid. My heart sunk. That was the day I knew I was going to leave. Like at that point in time, I just knew, just let my green card come in the mail. That was the day it comes. I don't even need to have a job offer. I'm resigning that day. Let's sort out.
I can imagine.
I was making 35K more.
Wow.
35K more than I was. And I'm the one showing you the roofs.
In income, every day they let me know how much they're paying me, because my negotiation was, what happened at income was I was actually headhunted to go to income by a director. And so I didn't have to say much because the guy told them, if you don't grab this guy, you are in trouble. So I was heading DBAs and the SQL Server in income. My salary was off the chart. So they were always saying, we pay you too much. So when I left, I'm like, take your money and go. I just left.
This money is getting stressful too. Yeah, income was chaos. Income was a chaotic place. It was chaos. It was just a beautiful experience from a technical side. Like I would literally wish the management got that place together. It would be so much fun to work because technology-wise, man, there was
off the
everything.
Yes, they had money.
They were invested in the technology. They were not shy to spend and buy and do stuff. It was just a very politically toxic place to work, but the tech of it was great. I enjoyed doing the tech, but man, once you come out, left all of that and the shenanigans started, you're like, oh Lord. Was doing that during all those War Room week, Black Friday week, Christmas week, just the most miserable seasons of somebody's life.
Were you in the same office as the Cancer Society building? That was my office.
American Cancer Society. Yeah, I was there. I was on the 5th floor.
Same place, yeah.
I was on the 5th floor. Eventually, we came down to 2nd floor, 3rd floor, under Georgia Lottery.
Okay. Yeah. That's it. That's the income I know.
That's the income. When we're at 250 William Street.
Wow.
I can't forget
It's amazing. It's a small world, though. It's a small world.
I still remember the address. That's the only one I still remember the address because of how much it meant. Yeah, income still means something just because of that immigration transition, and I learned a lot there.
You dropped off my resume two resumes ago. I dropped it off because it's too long ago, and I just removed
it. I know that begins to happen after a while. Like, some things need to go, so it's not. That's awesome. All right. Any other questions? Anyone have anything else they want to dive into from a job hunting perspective?
Well, I know you've said this before, but I'm still trying in my head. I think this aligns with Dr. Debola's fears of how, because I'm getting a lot of hits in my LinkedIn profile right now.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I'm still in my head. But I don't really care. But I'm thinking, how do I begin to introduce myself as a SQL Server DBA when I get to that point in my LinkedIn? One of the things I'm thinking about is I won't even put it out there, or I will just make my LinkedIn profile private, not searchable at all. You won't find me. So I'm still weighing my options though, but I don't.
So for you, I won't even. what I'll do is not just go far back, because your career journey is an easy one to explain. So I won't throw out, like I won't go back. It depends on how much experience you want to build into you want to give your SQL DBA,
enough
experience.
to give me 6 figures though.
Even at 5 years, you're going to get 6 figures. Even at 5 years, you get 6 figures, because again, you already mastered the negotiation game. You easily go through a recruiter. That will be an easy one for you. Negotiating, that's where you get your money, is at the recruiter stage. Right?
Sure.
So you're going to get that part. That will be so easy for you. So you'll get your 6 figures with just talking to recruiters. So the where I know your concern might be or is with the, how do I tell this story with all of my ears? And you're not jumping from a completely different field, right? So the last 5 years can be your DBA years, and everything you were doing before can still be, it's Oracle to program management, to program, working program coordinator, program product ownership type, and then you go bored and decided you missed the technical stuff and you decide to explain new technology.
That's a good one.
Yeah, that's literally, because it happens. A lot of people try out. I wanted to,
I got bored. That's a good story. I got bored. Yeah.
And I wanted to get back to my roots, I missed the technical stuff, and I decided to get into SQL Server.
So, Prof, let's bring this home a little bit. So, currently I'm working for USAA. Before then, I worked for Unum. Before then, I worked for Oral Labs. Before then, Assurant. Before then, Verizon.
You work for Assurant? Those
Yeah.
guys recruited me hard. They recruited me like insurance. Yeah, they took hold.
And I was with them for 3 years.
Oh wow.
That's one place that they thought they paid me too much. So everywhere I go, they always think they pay me too much. I don't know, whether because of my black face. If it was a white guy, they wouldn't even care, right?
They won't complain about it. Yeah, you get paid when you negotiate.
And they love what I do. They love me in my job. I mean, I don't play around my work. I mean, in fact, there are times they actually call me for any project. They want to pick my brains. They want to know, not that I work for them at all, but just let's see my perspective. So they always use me. Now, so I work for all these companies in the past, currently USA. So my SQL Server, SQL Server resume comes out. So is this suddenly that from my program management with USA, it becomes a SQL Server DB? How does that work?
So there are two options. You can convert your USA to SQL DBA position. So how long have you been with USA?
2 years.
2 years. So that's short. All right. So that's not a long. If it was like 5 years that I said you did your transition there. So you said you were in program and then you transitioned back into the technical stuff. Well, you can either do that as the beginning of your, you can just convert that to DBA and then work your way back 5 years into, 5 years back, or remove USA completely and extend Oral Labs to be your present. So, because I know Oral Labs is it's kind of like you're directly connected with it in a way. So
right.
So that one can now be your experience for the last and that's where you have your DBA experience.
I think that's a fantastic one. I'm glad I'm discussing this. I'm just pulling up my resume and I'm very glad I'm discussing. So it's giving me just what I need to. I'm thinking it through because I've been thinking it through on my own, but never really quite got to it. So if I put Oral Lab is 2019, right?
Okay.
So that I can even shift it a little bit and adjust my Assurant, and then I'm golden.
Yeah. So Assurant is another very technical place. I think they have a reputation too for. It's one of those places where my chair just broke. Yep, my chair just broke.
Uh-oh.
That's how you. That's time to stand up. Oh, chair's old. Well, yeah, I think if assurance is one of those places like income where if you meet anybody from assurance, the assumption is they are solid. You know, so that's so if it extends into assurance and oral labs, for your DB experience, or just like oral
assurance is
labs
2015. That may be okay. That may be like that's too long, right?
This 2015, we're 2023. That's 8 years or 7 years.
Yeah. So what I could do is assurance. I will shorten assurance, and then extend oral lab. That would just fix it. That would do it.
Yeah. That will work that way. So USA is just not on the LinkedIn, not on the resume, and nothing is changing. And on your LinkedIn, just check that option where you don't notify your connections of changes.
Yes.
So that's once you have that, again, it's LinkedIn is so most people are not people that are there for business, or they're there to. If I'm on LinkedIn, I went there for something. It's that's why I like LinkedIn. So people are not necessarily up to date with what's going on there. Half the people never go to LinkedIn except they're going to apply for jobs or maybe read articles
or look up a candidate
or look up candidates. But it's not one of those things where somebody's like, man, I saw your picture. What happened? Oh, you have a baby now, right? So that's not LinkedIn.
It's not Facebook.
Yeah, it's not Facebook. It's not Instagram. Yeah, so that's cool. people have overhauled their LinkedIn completely, and nothing happened.
And even if somebody from USA sees this guy is, and it might be a different Ephraim.
Yeah,
could be a different person.
And that's the thing too. People are not that. There's going to have to be a level of nosiness, which again is not the LinkedIn is not the spot for that.
Okay. Well, thank you.
Once you get the job, things align back again. You can realign it how you want. When you're in. So
I hope Dr. Debola is getting some points from here. Doctor, you've been quiet. Are you there?
Yes, I am.
Okay. Okay. You're welcome.
Doctor, did you start your new gig yet, or?
I'm supposed to start in October, but my old job, my last day is on Tuesday, so.
Oh, okay.
You sound like you're just coming back from work, Doc.
Yeah, it sounds like she needs to lay down.
No, I think it's because I'm just I've been quiet since, so.
So I had to call you out.
Yeah. I'm trying to work on my CV with Jesse.
I hope you got a few points from what we just discussed with Prof.
Yes, but I still believe, because I looked through the one that he reviewed for me, but I don't know. I still feel it still needs some adjustment, because.
Wait, so Jesse has made changes to the resume yet? I didn't see the final one.
Yeah, he did, but I still, number one, what is SSIS?
SQL Server Integration Services. So it's one of those. SSIS is one of those things as DBAs were not as SQL Server DBAs were not necessarily using, but a lot of job descriptions you'll see SSIS in there. So it makes sense to have it mentioned on your resume. So it's SQL Server Integration Services. It's mostly for when people are doing huge data, when you're doing a huge data push. Like if I want to move, massive amounts of data, not transactional data. One of the best ways to do it is using SSIS packages. Companies also do what they call like purging data, maybe because you don't want to keep too much data in your production database because it's going to affect, transaction speed. So those type of things are done, with SSIS. So the people that use SSIS are mostly the business intelligence, the BI developers. Those are the ones who are primarily doing so BI and the SSAS, analysis service, the SSAS people. Are also it's that same family of users.
No. Okay. Because I'm thinking that I'm not going to be doing anything for about 2 weeks. So I was thinking if I could finish my program and start, like put out my CV even from next week or something. So if it's possible,
send me the one that Jesmail updated for you. Let me see it.
Okay. If it's even possible for me not to even start this new job and,
Yeah, it's if you finish the material, I mean, I'll still say still start applying. Even regardless of where you are, once the resume is good, put it out. Start getting phone calls. Start, since now you already have your job. You can now overhaul your profile to DBA completely.
Yeah, so that's what I was thinking I would do. Okay, I sent you the one, Jesse.
Okay, this I see it's 8:43 p.m.
Oh, hold on. I hope that's it.
Is that?
No, hold on. Oh no, that's not it. Sorry. That's the first one I sent to him. I sent the one he's here.
Okay.
The second one is the one Jesse sent
second
back.
One. Okay.
The first one is
Is it Slack that's making it format like this? I think it's probably Slack. I'm going to download it and then go over it. So if there's any reasons, I'll let you know. But I'm going to download it to my computer so that I can see the exact formatting of it.
okay.
Make sure at least it's.
So
laid
I was
out
thinking,
properly.
yes, I was thinking now that I mean, it's either I just as Mr. Finder said, overhaul my LinkedIn, or because I'm even thinking I may even close down the LinkedIn account and just try and see how I can, do without it.
It's important. I recommend having a LinkedIn account. I highly recommend LinkedIn just because most recruiters you speak to, the next thing they do once they talk to you, before or after they talk to you, they will look you up on LinkedIn. So it's always helpful to have the, before we could get away with not having LinkedIn. Now for sure, like the last time I was in the job market, every recruiter you speak to, the next thing they find you on LinkedIn, they send you a request. So it's always good because it's almost like credibility background. It's almost like your first background check, basically.
Yeah, they want to know if you're not a ghost or you're a ghost.
Yeah, so I'd always recommend. That's why I'm big on just have your LinkedIn profile, have professional pictures. Take some time to really make it, clean.
So
Prof, I don't have my picture on LinkedIn. I don't want it.
Overhaul it and get new connections.
I don't want my black face on LinkedIn at all.
Yeah, Mr. Finder, we should put in disclaimer to some of your listen. Don't try this at home. This is
Don't try this at home.
you play by a different set of rules. You started this game 2 decades ago.
Yeah.
So the rules are so different.
I'm a rebel. I mean, I know that. Non-conformist really by nature. I'm a non-conformist.
Yeah.
I don't conform to.
Yeah, and the good thing is, and like because you're already established, like that, immediately you're going to also be amazed too. Like once you, because of all of the, by the time you start looking, it's going to move quickly for you because of just there's like you just built credibility in the world, basically in the LinkedIn career search world, that it's almost like everything just responds to that. It's so yeah, at some point you get to play by your own rules.
Yeah.
That's just how it goes. Yeah. All right. Yeah, Choice Edge. I see it. This is nice.
Yeah, I know that name. I know that name.
We're familiar with. We know somebody in there. All right. So I see. So quick adjustment. The timelines. The last global touch is going August to 20 to present, and then Choice Edge is also going to present. So those timelines need to adjust.
No, but the global touch is 2019.
Well, on the one you sent me, it's starting from 2020 to present.
It should. Oh yes, 2020. Sorry, 2020 to present. Yes.
Yeah. So we need to adjust it because you have your most recent employment is Choice.
Okay.
Yeah. So
I had a reason for that.
All right. So there's those two. Those are the two employments. All right. I'll look at it. I'll send this back to you. I'll download it again. I want to see the formatting on computer. So I'll just what I'll do is I'll put notes, or I'll make a second copy and
Okay.
make changes so you can now keep or discard the changes.
Okay.
Yeah, well, I think this mail didn't do a bad job.
Well, I did most of it.
So you didn't do a bad job.
I don't think he did a lot because I told him to take out all those 2008 and all that. That was what he was supposed to look at for me, because if you look at the old one, it was one of your patterns. It was actually one of the patterns I took.
Mm-hmm.
One of
it looks. I mean, the way you set up but that's really what I want you know, to just stay with something that already works. And
I think it was one of the samples. Sorry.
The samples. Yeah.
Sample 4. So one of the samples.
Honestly, like resumes are so easy to do now with AI. You can like review and change out things. You know, my only thing is like just I know what we can it's not just about buzzwords, but you also want to make sure that's the right things that we get. Yeah, so there are certain things I'll check for. I'll look at it. I'll find some time over the weekend. By Monday, I'll send it back to you.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, so that you can start. Just put it out. Once you're okay with it, just put it out. You know, even if you don't want to take the calls, let the resume be there. Just building. Let there be some presence. You can start getting calls, start getting emails. I think that would be, while you're still going through the program, that's totally okay. Because what that would do is at least you have more. You start correlating the things you're learning with what the market is looking for. So that's always a good way to, that's always a good thing. So you can now say, okay, maybe I need to quickly get to high availability, or I need to do this, or I need to do that. And you have a lot more questions for me.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome. All right. Okay. Bye. Yeah, exercise is used for ETL. That's correct, Mr. Ali. ETL. What is ETL? Do you want to explain that to us before we shut down? Just out of
Yes. ETL is extract, transform, and load. So, like you extract some data in different sources, Excel or other database, and then you transform it. So you have to adapt the, how can I say,
massage the data.
Yes, the data exactly. So if where you have to put that data,
make it compatible with where you need it to go.
That compatible, and then you can load to the
and move it over there.
database, something like.
Yeah, so that's ETL. Again, that it's not a DBA concept. It's a database concept. So it's more analysis services, right? So think of data sources can be anything, right? You see what we use they get this. You see on the website, say this website uses cookies to get, basically they are authorizing, they are saying it's going to gather your information. All of those are data sources, right? You see what we do on the phone, tells ask app not to track, right? On iPhone, all of these things are data points, right? All of our that's why you browse about a shoe and you start seeing ads for shoes, right? If you're engaging specific kind of apps, you start seeing promotions for those apps. That's because constantly there's always data extraction going on. All of our patterns, all of our behaviors, they're being captured. That's why you've seen there's many of these cases with iPhone and all these providers for selling people data, right? People used to run promotions to target iPhone users, for example. And so how are they doing that? Apple is giving them access, like you pay and we'll show your ads to guys who are using our products. So that's the extracts, and then now you have to, like you said, basically knock the data into compatible form to where you want to send it to, who wants to. If it's for a report, for example, that means it has to be in a particular format. If it's for, migration to another database or to another site, it has to stay in a particular format. So that's the transformation there. You have to make it compatible to where it's going to after you extract it. So because all of the data we're grabbing from the internet, all these volumes and volumes of data that has been extracted by my patterns or behaviors on Instagram, right? If they need it for election purposes, for example, they have to make the data readable for the poll people to know, hey, don't bother campaigning to these people because they're not interested. They follow these pages and they follow these groups, right? So so that's really trying to bring it down to a real life scenarios. When ETL is about, that's all it's there. And again, like I said, the key SSIS is a tool for moving huge chunks. So if imagine the volume of data that we are, that's been extracted based on people's patterns on social media, on Amazon, on all of this Shopify, it's billions of records on a regular basis. So that's volumes, and just the standard backup and restore ain't gonna cut it. And so that's where this, SSISs of the world become, that's what they're going into the data warehousing concepts.
Exactly. And when you finish to use the SSIS, they call you will use next will be the report services.
Yeah,
because
SSRS.
you finish to import all the data, you transform it, you load it. Now they want to see how they can the report and how they can how they call it, if the visualization. So you have to do the report to show them the new data, how the new data is representing something.
Yeah, and SSRS is SQL Server's reporting tool, right? So you see things like the Tableaus of the world, the Power BIs, they're also relatives, close relatives of SSRS. More tweaks and presentation, tools, for the most part. So,
Prof, I know we're rounding up.
Yeah.
Do we have a lecture or a lesson on data warehousing? Because sometimes you see adverts for data warehousing DBA.
Yeah, no, it's not in our realm. Where mine is just pure transactional.
Okay.
Yeah, OLTP, transaction processing. And then once your feet is in the door, then your career will take you where it takes you. You know how it goes. We have our goals, but once you get in that, You go where opportunities, career growths will take people's career different directions. So
yeah, I think in the beginning of this course we talk about that. We say we in OLTP. So this is for transactional.
Yeah.
And with data warehouse is OLAP, OLAP.
Yep. OLAP.
So that's very different.
All right. Thank you.
Welcome.
All right. I don't have anything else. I think we can call it the night. It's 9 p.m. I'm still at the office.
Thank you very much. And then
that's why you're the prof.
Let's go home.
Right.
So for Atlanta, my Atlanta brethren, my Atlanta family, I know I've mentioned it before, but we're doing some work here at the office. So we're repurposing the space to a co-working space. So most of the physical work is done. So next week I'm going to put the links on the group. I keep saying I'll do these things, and then Jessica will not remind me to do it. But we're having, open co-working, free co-working days next week and the next couple of weeks before we launch at the end of the month officially.
okay.
I'll send the links, for everyone to kind of sign up. And so if you're free during the week, come on out and physical for co-working or physically working. Yeah.
Physical. Wow. And
oh my God. What are you saying? We can come in.
Yeah, you say
we're coming in, but that's if you have if instead of working from home, you can come in and work from here. Basically, we'll give you internet access and everything.
Oh, that would be great. By next week, Tuesday, I'm gonna be, well, I don't like to use that word, out of a job.
You're going to transition.
Okay, I'm going to be transitioning.
They're going to be on vacation.
So that's
starting. I can start coming in so I can quickly finish my course and get.
So like I said, we're changing the office here since training is all virtual now. Like I don't, barring some drastic measures, I don't plan to go back to an in-person training model. It gives me like a reach beyond. I can train Mr. Ali in Jersey at the same time with so without any of that. So but we have the space, so we are repurposing the space where the office is. So like I have 1,700 square feet of space here that we're renting.
So what time is it?
So I'll send the details, but it's going to, like I was saying, it's going to become a co-working space so people can buy memberships, and come and work from here. So we'll have coffee and internet and all the nice amenities. So we're launching end of the month. We're going to launch officially, open to the public, start selling memberships by the end of the month. But the next 2 weeks, we want to kind of test run.
We in-house people can start coming from next week.
Yeah, so the next couple of weeks is just going to be test run. Just so during the next couple of weeks, it's open, free. Just come and experience it.
I don't mind being part of a test run.
Yeah. So that's why I'm inviting all of you. That's what I'm. So it's going to be a Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursdays. Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday for the next 2 weeks. Tuesday, Wednesday,
I'll be a visiting student.
So it'll be between 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. that time frame. Just come in and hang out with us.
Fun. Where is it located? Okay, you said the details as well.
Yeah, we're not cross. We're not cross. We're actually very close to church.
Okay.
Yeah, well, maybe like
I would love that. I would really love that. It will make me a little bit more dedicated because these 2 weeks, I'm not. The other new job I'm starting on the 2nd of October.
Okay. October 2nd.
Oh, that's so fantastic.
Yeah, so like we do. So at least that perfectly into the time frame. Just come, at least you can come in here, just put on your headphones,
yes,
and then just spend a couple of hours just work, just watch the videos, do your thing.
Yeah, watch the
I'll probably
video.
show up. I'll show up a few days and see. Depending on how far it is. I don't like leaving my area.
You can come out for my sake.
I will definitely come out.
And
Yeah.
for me, it will also be an opportunity for like an in-person training.
Yeah. At least if you have questions, I'm not going to ignore you.
Yes, that's the point. Yeah, that's the point.
But I mean, but that's the good idea. Whole idea too is if you're here and I'm here, I mean it's a good it's always good. So if you have like, okay, this is something I'm looking at, what's your take?
Prof will say, catch me if you can.
Catch me if you can. That's I just put the link to the website. It's still coming soon, but there's a button there to click to register. So once that way we can.
Oh, this is fantastic.
Yeah, that's okay. You can still see my screen. So that's the page. So just go in here and then just.
And it's so funny. This is the time I'm not doing anything.
Yeah,
I was even thinking that I will use that opportunity to find how to just quickly make some money to cover for my 2 weeks of not making money.
The gap. As American, let's say like you don't want that gap.
Yeah. Sure.
So all right, it will soon that phase is soon it will soon be a past phase.
Amen.
It'll soon be a past phase. So yeah, these are get on our waiting list so that by Monday or so but I'll still keep I'll still send more details. Let me see, what's our Facebook page?
Are we registering already?
Oh, I registered already.
Yeah.
Mr. Finder.
Yeah, go ahead and register. It's a good start, and that way we can, when we send out emails and everything to come.
Awesome.
I registered already. I didn't even ask.
Yeah, so go ahead and register, please.
Wait, I see two links. Which one? There's the
one is the website. Yeah, the Hub ATL, One is the Facebook page, and then the other is the website. That's the one I have on right now. The website.
So which one are we registering with? Facebook?
On the website. The Facebook page is you can just go follow.
Got it.
Yeah, like the page. Stay connected.
Yeah, this is the one I registered on.
Yeah. So any others? Well, September 30th, by God's grace, we'll have a launch event, and then we'll do some.
Okay. As well. So Tuesday to Thursday, that's okay. I can do that. I will start coming out this Tuesday.
All right, awesome.
I saw we'll get the address to our emails,
yes.
right?
I'll send we'll get emails. Yeah. But even that I'm gonna put all the details on our Slack as well.
Okay. You will surely see me.
No
By God's grace.
By God's grace.
I'm in as well, registered.
Yeah, so if we have other people who are, working from home, can just let them know. They can come try it out, come check us out. Instead of sitting home all day and being bored.
So do you have Prof, do you have a networking person who is in charge of this whole deal?
Networking, like reaching out to the community networking, or
no, networking in terms of computer networking.
No.
Okay. Maybe when I come out there, I'll see what else I can suggest, ideas and stuff like that.
So
you may also need a firewall.
He's asking to work for you, Pastor.
Yeah. So where you call because I'm detecting, I'm almost detecting the place in a way. So it's more going in that community.
They're going into the business direction.
Yeah, more community. I mean, still called with tech, but we're still tech training, but one is I'm kind of trying to get this place to be a
tech hub.
A tech hub. Just come, if people connect. Hopefully there's the vision is more networking opportunities for people. If people who are, let's say you take the class, you're coming out here, you're a member, opportunities come out at your job. The first people you're gonna, hey, you already know somebody within the community that you're going to refer first, because we see, we're co-working together. If there's any of the opportunities, anything, that first community that you have access to. So that's kind of the vision. But also it would kind of also be a good pipeline too for students as well. People who are looking to, at least if it's going to be more tech related people in the same space, you might want to connect there. And so that's the big picture. Hopefully we'll just create one very vibrant tech hub for our community around here, where it can grow into something special. That's the plan. All right, let's go home. Or let me go home. I'm the one that's not home.
Yeah, I think we're beginning to enjoy this too much. Thank you, guys.
Thank you. Have a good one.
Thanks, everyone. Have a good night.